Here we go. Now, I reckon. There we go. So I think we might make a start. If you're ready, Lisa.
Sure. Just 1 second. I want to make sure I close everything so nothing interrupts me. Oh, wow. What did I do to you guys? Where'd you guys go?
We're still here.
Okay, so it dropped down. So, I'm a techno idiot and proud of it. I just want to make sure there were no apps somewhere anybody could ring in. All right. Here we are.
So I'd just like to welcome everybody and welcome Lisa. I've been very blessed to watch many of Lisa's videos, and I believe she's, without a shadow of a doubt, one of the best communicators. I've always said, and a mentor taught me, that a genius makes the complicated simple. And one of the way Lisa explains stories, she's just an absolute genius. And I'm really looking forward to this. So, welcome. Thanks for your time, Lisa. I appreciate it.
Happy to be here. Not exactly sure what we're going to do, but that's okay because I do calls and webinars and things all over the space, network marketing, internet marketing, entrepreneurship, and I really never know what they're about because I'm very much a person that I respond to whatever somebody asks me to deal with. So here we are. It's a Thursday night. I guess it's 8:30 where you are. Most of you, 6:30 where I am.
Yep.
And as I wonder, I never ceases to amaze me what is possible today with technology compared to when I started. As my kids would say, the wagons were going west and kerosene was way to the light bulb, and there was me, venturing out into the world of high finance, and here we are today. So how can I help everybody that's on the line? I know your time is valuable, especially on the evening. The evening time, you could be spending it a lot of places. You've chosen to spend it here, and I want to make sure that you don't regret that. So anything that I can do to serve anyway, that is what we're here for.
Well, most of the people that are online have been in network marketing in some form for usually on average over a year. I don't think there's many people on this that are under a year. And most of the people that are on this have done a lot of self-development. They've watched a lot of YouTube clips. Most people I'd say would have watched your warm market approach because I promoted it last week.
Hot market.
Hot market, sorry, yeah. Sharon did it on the webinar last week. So most people would have watched the hot market and been brilliant with that. I love, can I just get you to tell your story about when you walk and there's the guys down the hole? About with network. When there's the guys down in the hole and you, Frank?
Oh, okay. Actually, I will tell you the story and I will tell you how I came about the story, actually. Curtis and I, about 3 years ago, I got a call and I was invited to go speak, and it wasn't a network marketing event, actually. It wasn't even an internet marketing event. It was it was some sort of an entrepreneurial educational retreat in Cabo San Lucas that had a lot of really well-known speakers speaking. And it was, people had paid $15,000 to go to this event. And I was asked, primarily I think because I was a woman, you get a lot of that. It's like the token woman. And they wanted me to come speak. And I wasn't really clear as to why, because it was not in my space, but I was really clear that I was going to go to this incredible resort in Cabo for a week, and they were going to pay for it if I would go speak for 2 hours on whatever it was that they wanted me to speak on. So against my better judgment, I said, sure. And they had also called Curtis to speak, but they had a very well-defined topic for him. They wanted him to speak on how to take a company from $1 million to $100 million from the corporate CEO chair, which he had done a number of times. And I said, well, not a problem. What do you want me to speak on? And they said, well, we just want you to talk about how to build, $1 million income as an entrepreneur. And we don't even care if you say that you're in network marketing or if you talk about network marketing. We have no problem with network marketing. But please be careful with a lot of the language, because these people are not network marketing. A lot of them are dentists and doctors learning how to get online, blah, 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 blah. So just don't use a lot of language they wouldn't understand when you teach. So I said, okay. So I went and I prepared this talk that was basically titled, How to Future-Proof Your Brand Against Commoditization Through the Building and Utilization of Communities, which was basically how to use culture to not lose your, how to stop using feature and benefits to sell your products, but use culture instead so that, you have some strength with your customer base, how to build a loyal customer base. And so I went and we were speaking on the last day. I was speaking, second last speaker, Curtis, was closing. And I had a PowerPoint. I'm not a PowerPoint person. And the first day, I saw all these incredible speakers, and they had these PowerPoints that looked like they were going to take off for the moon. They had all stuff going on, and I'm seeing Cabo San Lucas with my dingy little old PowerPoint that I don't even want to show anybody. So I'm like crying, and I call friends back in the States. If I send you my PowerPoint, can you make it pretty? Because right now it's a real ugly duckling. So I do that. Well, the second day, Joe Sugarman was speaking, Mike Koenigs was speaking, all these incredible speakers. And at this point, I don't even want to deal with my PowerPoint. So by the time it got around to me speaking, I had thrown my PowerPoint away. But what I noticed was all of the speakers were closing with these incredible stories. Well, in network marketing, we tell stories too, but most of the stories that we tell are our own or other people's, or stories about the business or Aesop's fables. But they were all telling these amazing stories. And I finally said, where are you getting these stories? Because every one of them closed with a story. And they said, oh, well, the storyteller's Bible, the speaker's storyteller Bible or something. I'm like, really? Is that available online? They said, no, it's the Book You Bible. I wasn't going to get it in Cabo San Lucas. So I'm like, where am I going to find a story that I can close with? So this was the first time I closed with a story. I will tell you the story, and then I will tell you where I found it. Guy's walking down the street. We'll call him Joe. Joe's walking down the street on his way home one night, and it's pouring down rain, and Joe does not like the rain. He doesn't like the thunder. He doesn't like the lightning, so he starts speeding up because it's very dark, and he's kind of frightened, and he trips, and he falls into a hole. And the weather's getting worse, and he's in the hole, and he's freaking himself out because it's like, oh my God, I'm going to be stuck down here. No one's ever going to come to get me. I'm going to die in this hole, and what's going to happen to me? And all of a sudden, he hears footsteps. And he screams, hello, 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 is anybody up there? And he hears somebody say, oh, is somebody down there? And he says, yes, who's up there? Who's up there? And he says, oh, it's Father Murphy, me son. What you doing down there? And he says, oh, Father Murphy, I was walking on the rain and I fell down. Can you help me? Can you help get me out of here? And Father Murphy says, oh, of course I can help you, my son. And he writes a prayer on a piece of paper. He throws the prayer in the hole and he walks on by. And now Joe is really, really starting to get nervous. And all of a sudden he hears some more footsteps. And he says, hello, hello, is anybody up there? And he hears, hey, man, is somebody out there? And he goes, hello, hello, I'm down here. Can you hear me? He goes, oh, what you doing down there? And he said, I fell in this hole. Can you get me out? He goes, well, you shouldn't be down there. It's like raining out here. Well, he says, but yeah, but can you help me get out? He says, uh-huh. He goes, well, when I get home, if I can remember where home is, I'm going to call the 411 people and tell them to come back and get you if I can remember where here is. And the guy goes on home. And at this point, Joe is like losing it. And finally, when he's just about to give up hope, he hears some more footsteps. And he says, hello, 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 is anybody up there? And he hears a voice say, Joe, is that you? And he just says, oh my God, Frank, is that you? And Frank says, Joe, what's going on? What are you doing? He says, oh, I was walking, I fell down the hole. Can you help me? And Frank says, sure, I can help you. And jumps in the hole. Frank, are you crazy? What'd you jump down in the hole for? Now we're both stuck down here. And Frank says, Joe, it's okay. I've been down here before. I know the way out. Take my hand and I'll show you. Now, usually I close with that story because the moral of the story is in network marketing, everybody when they get involved and as everybody as they go to the next level and everybody doing anything whenever they make the decision once again to get out of their comfort zone, and try something new very much feels like they're in a black hole with no idea of how to get out and where to go. And in many places, there are always mentors to be found, but in this business in particular, you are surrounded by people who know the way out.
Yep.
And the key is just to let them take you by the hand and show you. So ever since that non-network marketing event where I desperately looked for a story to close with, because all these fancy schmancy people who speak for a living, which I do not, who have storyteller Bibles from which to pluck incredible stories, close their speaking talks, which I did not, and fancy Star Wars PowerPoints behind them to talk with that I do not, who all went before me, and I had to come up in the rears, after them, feeling the way that I did. And so desperate for a story, I finally went to one of my favorite sources, and Dr. Seuss, which is usually where I go, did not seem to have something on this occasion. But as it turns out, I'm an avid fan of The West Wing. And that comes from a second season episode of The West Wing called Noel, when Josh is suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder, and Leo Murko tells him that story after having him see a therapist because he's freaking out at the White House. And I had remembered the story when I was just searching for something to close with. So that's the origin of the story for me. I'm sure it has an origin behind that. And ever since that, I pretty much closed every speaking engagement in the space with that story, except for a couple where other people either were told the story before me, one rather badly, who knew I was going to do it. And another time where Tiffany Malott asked me if she could close with the story and asked me not to, and she did a fabulous job. So that was okay.
Fantastic. So that begs the question, when you got started in network marketing, who jumped in the hole with you and helped you? How did you?
Actually, nobody. I went and found the people, because here's the reality of network marketing. 80% of new people are brought in by new people who know maybe one day's more information than the person they're bringing in. And, my theory is if somebody shows you something that can change your life and that's all they ever do, and frequently it's all they ever will, be grateful. Because network marketing is not about the people that show you the business. You make money from those you mentor, sponsor, and lead. And the information is always out there. I went and found it. I did not like the business when I first got involved with it. I despised it, actually, but I felt like it was beating me. I'm not one to be beaten. So my plan was that I was going to get to the top so I could quit with my, with my pride intact. Because if you quit before you make it, then people will think you couldn't cut it. But if you quit once you've made it, then you can say, well, I did that and I did that well. It just wasn't for me. What I wasn't counting on is along the way, I began to understand what network marketing really was, as opposed to what I thought it was, and I fell in love, and here we are 107 years later. Don't I look young for my age? I use marketing products, you see.
Don't say that. You look beautiful. Don't say that. So obviously, where most people can see you're so well skilled. If you were someone that had been in for a year or 2 years and has done a fair bit of work on themselves, what would be the advice? Like, if you could tell yourself something, what would it be?
Think bigger, faster, and be realistic. You see, most people who get involved in network marketing aren't realistic. Their expectations don't survive the test of logic. I meet people all the time and they tell me network marketing doesn't work. But as I ask them questions, if somebody believes that network marketing doesn't work, it's only because of one of two reasons. They either know somebody who was in network marketing and told them it didn't work, or they got into it themselves and they believe it doesn't work. But as you ask people questions, it's like, well, what did you do? Well, I got involved and somebody told me that I was going to get rich quick. Somebody told me they were going to build a business for me. I shared it with two people. They said it only takes two people that see what you see that are going to work the business. And I talked to 4 and they said no. All these things, business is business. Business isn't easy. This is a simple business. Being a doctor is a complicated business. You're going to go to school for 8 years. You're going to go through all this training. Both are hard. Both require work. When people say to me, and let's take medical, let's take a doctor. There's a good analogy. I have people and they have an expectation that they look at a company and they say, I want to get to Starfleet Commander. And that's, because I don't want to take any particular star, that's the top of the deal. And that's the equivalent of being the CEO of Microsoft, let's say, or whatever it is. In the real world, let's look at the real world. A janitor, he's 65 years old. He is in the bathroom one night. He's the janitor at Microsoft, and he's mopping, and he has an epiphany. I'm destined for more. I can be more than this. This is not my lot in life. I don't care that I'm 65 years old. I can do more with my life. I want to be the CEO of Microsoft. Now, I don't care how strong his desire is, how hard he's willing to work, what he's willing to do. Does he have a single prayer in hell of ever being the CEO of Microsoft? He does not. He doesn't have the education. He doesn't have the skill set. He doesn't have the relationships. He doesn't have the CV. He doesn't have the background. He has none of the things in place, nor is he going to get them to end up being the CEO of Microsoft. Never going to happen. Same janitor sits there and says, I'm destined for more. I want to become a millionaire. I'm going to go get involved with network marketing. Can he do it at 65 years old? Can he become the CEO of his own distribution network, get to the top, become a millionaire? When yesterday he was a janitor, when he started was, the janitor at Microsoft working the night shift. He absolutely can. Will he? Possibly not. Probably not. But that doesn't mean that network marketing doesn't work. That's called human nature. The difference between the two scenarios is one is absolutely impossible. One is completely possible, but up to the person involved. So network marketing is not people can jump in and they're going to get rich because they decided to one day say, I signed up in a network marketing company. Whip-de-doo. You can sign up in the Army and they're not going to make you a general.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's again, human nature. So my thing is that people have to be realistic with themselves and manage their expectations, because network marketing is a very simple business. And it really isn't as much about the skills, because those come through repetition. You want to get better at anything, it's very simple. Be really bad at it. Keep doing it over and over again. You'll go from really bad to really not, to really mediocre. You'll go from really mediocre to not that bad, to average, to okay. And eventually you'll get good, and you'll get gooder, and you'll get gooder, and you'll get great. That's a function of time. But a lot of people are very good at things, and they still can make a good living, but they really never get to that level of top 0.1% of people at anything. And what separates those people from the others is not what they do or how they do it, it's how they think.
Yep.
And that requires a shift in the way you look at things, and a shift and a commitment to the vision you're creating, and a vision that you create that is not subject to what other people say or tell you to be true.
Yep.
And that's internal and not external. So for me, I was never concerned what other people did or said, and with anything that I ever did in life in terms of business. And I wasn't with network marketing either. So often in life, if I want to learn how to do something, I go find the people that are best at it, and I listen to them. Many people will find the people that can't make it work and sit around, and they will all tell each other, they'll all talk about how it isn't working. So let's go back to medical school and a doctor. Imagine that you go find, I go find somebody, all the people that are making, today it was $1 million a year is the number, but when I was starting out, the magic number was $10,000, $20,000 a month. That's where most of the top earners were. And they all said to do it, I did it their way. Why? Well, imagine that, how many people here are parents, you have kids?
Yep.
So imagine you have a child in medical school, and your child's starting day 1 of year 3. And your kid comes home to visit, and they're all pissed off. And you say, oh my gosh, what's wrong? Oh, you're not going to come. Today, the #1 brain surgeon in the world came to lecture to our class. Well, why are you so upset? That sounds awesome. The #1 brain surgeon in the world came to our class and said that next week we can go watch him perform this procedure that only 6 people in the world know how to do. It sounds awesome, or I still don't see the problem. I want to do the procedure. I mean, I think that I should get to go assist and be a part of the procedure. And you know what he told me? He told me that I can't do it now. First, I have to finish 2 more years of medical school. And after that's not it. After that, I have to go be an intern. And after that, I have to go do a rotation in general surgery. And after that, I have to go do a rotation in neurosurgery. And after that, I have to go do a fellowship in advanced neurosurgery. And after 12 years, maybe I can get on a team with one of the best guys in the world and observe this procedure. And I don't think that's fair. I mean, I've put in my 2 years of the 4 years of medical school. I want to operate on brains today. Does anybody think that's reasonable? Would anybody think that that made any kind of sense? And yet people get into network marketing. They've been in 7 minutes, talked to 6 people, and they're all upset they're not at the top of the company. They don't want to listen to people that have put in, I don't know, 5, 10, 15 years, have groups of 200, 300,000 people, and not only are making $700,000, $800,000, $900,000 a year themselves, but have scores of people they've helped develop massive incomes who started not knowing how to do it, all who have put in their time, their years, all doing the very same things, because the way that you get successful is you learn how to do it the way it's done, and once you can make that work, you get to innovate. And that's anything in any discipline in life. But people come to network marketing and they think, oh my gosh, it should be easy to go make a lot of money? People go to school for 4 years, 6 years, 8 years to make $200,000-$300,000 a year, but I should get to do it part-time with my 10 minutes in? So to me, most of the challenges that people have are not with the business. They're that short road that lands between their ears and screws up everything else.
Yep. No, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And that's one of the things, that's why one of the keys is why I wanted to get you on, because that's the best thing we can do is have someone like you who's done it many, many, many times explain the process of how you've done it.
You know, so like I said, doing it is very simple. It's a very simple process. I'm very interested in other people. The rules of network marketing, you know, they're universal truths of life. There are a lot of things one can do to make money, but short-term vision, short-term thinking will crush and destroy long-term vision. Long-term vision is what creates great things, because you have to see what you're creating to make it come true. Network marketing is a business. It is not a money-making business. It's not it is a money-making business. I'm sorry. It's not a business opportunity business. And so many people think it is. It's a business of building a network of consumers for a service or a product line or a brand. And it's done with cultural branding and community when it's done properly. And if you become very good at that, at working through people, to people, to find those that are looking for you, and creating a community where everybody is welcome to participate to whatever capacity that they want to, that is fueled by great products, and you build something that people enjoy, that makes them feel good about themselves wherever they're at, then you're going to have great success. But if you go out and you sell everybody on how much money you're going to make, you know, the number one call I get is, my people are looking to do something else, they're not making money. I'm like, well, how long have they been in, how much money are they supposed to be making? You know, so many people will think they should be full-time in network marketing when they don't even understand it. You know, it's a transitional business. So I think that having a clear track, people so often overestimate what should happen in a month and they underestimate what they can do in a year. So the first thing I tell people is have a 1 year of vision of exactly where you want to be in a year, and a roadmap to get there, and a quantifiable plan of what you need to be doing. If I want to be here in a year, where do I have to be in 9 months? Where do I have to be in 6 months? Where do I have to be in 3 months? And what do I have to do on a day-to-day basis to get there? A classic case in point is events are very important.
Yep.
So the first decision I always made was I'm going to be at this event. Then I said, well, okay, how many people do I want at the event with me? If I wanted 30 people at the event, it wasn't that I was going to go get 30 people. If it was, first of all, how many, then I want 5 people that are each going to bring 6. How many people do I have to talk to get 5 that even say yes? Probably 30. How many people do I have to talk to get 5 that say yes, that will actually go and do the same thing I did? Because the 80-20 rule is alive and well. And I always, at any given point, you can always plan that 2 out of 10 people are going to do whatever's next. 2 out of 10 people will say yes to the business and sign up. 2 out of 10 of those will actually do this. 2 out of 10 of those will actually do this. 2 out of 10 of those will actually do this. 2 out of 10 of those will actually do this. And by the time you get to diamond in a company or Starfleet Commander, it'll be the 2 out of 10, 2 out of 10, 2 out of 10, 2 out of 10, 2 out of 10 that just chose to keep going. So what I'm in the business of doing is to always keep seeing who I'm working with in the community, which is 1 to 10, 1 to 20, 1 to 700,000, however big the group may be, to see who keeps choosing to go to the next level, because that's what you're looking to duplicate.
Yep.
It's not that you're going to take every person you find and wait to see if you can turn them into what you're looking for. It's you're going to take every person that says yes and respect whatever they want to do with it. Be honest with them, make them see what their options are, and always find out what they're choosing to do and respecting that choice. And looking for those who choose to say, yes, I'm going to keep going. 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 But first, you have to be the person who chooses to keep going.
Yep.
And if your choices are dependent on anybody other than yourself, then you're going to quit.
Yep.
You know, the only thing you need, to be successful in network marketing, you need a lot of people. But the only particular person you need is you. And then you need a company that you truly, truly believe in the ownership of the company. It's about people. Everything in network marketing is about people. Comp plans can be fixed or changed. I'm called in by companies to fix them all the time. So is my partner. Products have a lifespan. Companies can always bring on new products. Marketing can always be adjusted. Companies call, they have problems getting into countries. There's problems with regulatories. You hire learning attorneys. It takes time, but here's a function of business. With time, you can fix almost anything. And with money, you can buy time. So those problems can always be fixed. The one thing you can't fix or change is people. Well, in the field, you can always go get new people. There are always more people to talk to. Some will, some won't. So what? Someone else is waiting for you to talk to them, and they're waiting because you won't let go of this person who doesn't want to go any further anyway. And is really kind of bugged by the fact that you're taking your goals and trying to push them on them when it's not what they want. You know, but you can't change your company's ownership or leadership. So you really have to believe in them and believe that they believe in you, because that's a partnership. Other than that, it doesn't matter who says yes. Because what drives a business is passion. I don't care how much sense it makes. There are a lot of good companies that may be this person's dream, but you know, my example is always, I think that Orkin is a great business. As an economics major, I can tell you it is a great business model, because God knows I don't like bugs, and when I find them in my house, I can't wait to call the Orkin guy to come kill them. I would never want to be in that business. So I don't care how much sense you can show me it makes, and I agree with you, it's a fabulous model, and somebody's going to make a lot of money in it, but it sure isn't going to be me, because I will never get up in the morning and be passionate about going out to talk to people about killing bugs today. But for somebody who is, that's their deal.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, definitely. So a question I'd say a lot of people would be on here. A lot of people are from different companies, and what I love is you've just said, you know, over the years the same things are true. That you've got to speak to enough people to get good, and by getting good, you'll find the winners.
Well, what I think is there are good companies, and by a good company, I define it as, you know, if the business model makes sense and will be profitable. You know, I want a company that will pay me every dime it can and not one penny that it can't, because I don't want to have to go find another company. So I'm not interested in too good to be true. Yep. Right? Yep. So the owners have to make sense to me, and their model has to be profitable for them. And the marketplace will take care of it. The products have to be good. All that's important. But the most important thing are the people, and that it's a good company. If it is a bad model, well, it's kind of like this. You can fall in love with a frog, but my experience is you can kiss it all day long, and it still isn't going to turn into a prince or princess. On the other hand, just because somebody brings you something that's Mr. Right on paper doesn't mean he's Mr. Right for you. So what I've always said is, if something excites you enough to find out if it makes sense, then go make sure it makes sense before you do it. But if it doesn't excite you, the fact that it makes sense, who cares?
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, people are going to buy, either you're buying what someone else is selling or they're buying what you're selling. And what people are looking to follow is someone who is certain and someone who is excited. And 26 days a month, no matter what you do in life to support yourself, the days are pretty boring and not anything dramatically wonderful or fat or horrible happens. Mm-hmm. And about 2 days a month, the people drive you so crazy that you want to throw your phone out the window and you want to jump out the window after it and never, and quit. But it is your passion and your vision that keep you going for those 2 days a year that remind you why it is you got into it in the first place. That's reality.
Yeah.
So to me, network marketing is not about you. And so many people always call me and they say, I'm not making any money, or I'm not this, or I'm not that. Network, you have to be, we're not missionaries. We didn't join the Peace Corps. So it has to work for you. But this is a business that is about helping other people to change the quality of their lives to whatever capacity they choose to. We are in the business of offering choice, not convincing people. So what I do, what I have always done, I really am interested in other people. I'm interested in why people believe the things they believe, why they do the things they do, and why so many people fail to understand that tomorrow can be so much different than yesterday was. And the reason that I love network marketing is because so many businesses that I could probably do well at, that all of you could probably do well at, are by their very definition, they're so competitive. If I had the best donut shop in town and Olaf and Elsa were my best friends, I might want to teach them everything I know about making donuts and all my secrets. But truthfully, I can't, because they could open a donut shop across the street, and if they figure out one thing that I don't know, how to make those donuts 5 cents cheaper or add a secret ingredient that makes them that much better, they literally could put me out of business, because that's the way traditional business works. In network marketing, I can teach them everything I know gladly, and not only hope, but pray that they are as good as me, not as good as me, better than me. Yep. Because if they are, yay, look what I did for my friends, and I get paid for it. The better I can make everybody whose life I can influence, the better I can become at making other people better than me, the more successful I am. And not just financially, the better I feel. So it is truly the ultimate pay it forward business. I had never seen anything like that. Again, it lets me travel. It lets me do all these things. Now, nobody hates doing opportunity meetings and drawing circles more than me. I was doing this back in the day when, you didn't have all these tools. And one of the commercials that I used to always watch was an opera singer by the name of Beverly Sills. She made a commercial for Memorex where she would sing this high note and break a glass. And then they would play the recording on the Memorex tape cassette. I'm dating myself. And it would break the glass. And they would say, is it live or is it Memorex? And that's what I felt like. Why do I have to go from city to city and do the exact same presentation every night? It's ridiculous. I feel like an actor. I loved training. I loved teaching. I loved asking questions. I loved sitting down with people and finding out their story. But getting up at the front of the room and, this is the industry, blah, 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 blah. And this is the company. I mean, let's face it. How many opportunity meetings have you been to in your lifetime? Probably more than a few. Have you ever been to one where somebody didn't tell you where somebody said, gee, the company is okay. Our management team's kind of mediocre. Our products are and our company, it kind of pays people. Everybody expects people to say, our company's the best. We have a world-class management team. That's what we got here. And these products, oh my gosh, they are state-of-the-art. They slice, they dice, they wash the dishes, and they dry them too. And when it comes to paying you, nobody pays you like we do. We've got the best compliment. Better than these guys, better than those guys, better than the guys that were yesterday. And we're so advanced and forward thinking, we're even better than the guys that haven't come out yet.
Sorry, guys, but you're just...
That's what we expected to say. It's what they all say. And you know what? Nobody cares. Even if every word that's said in every opportunity presentation is true, nobody cares that Amway is doing so well. What people come to see is what's in it for me.
Yep, with them.
They're sitting in that audience not to hear that the company is doing so great. They want to know, what does that translate to for my life? When people say, you know, does this work? What they're really asking is, can this work for me?
Yeah.
You know, when people call and they say this, if a company's been in business 5 years and they're doing umpteen $1 million in umpteen countries, the reality is that company's going to go on and prosper for the 99 times out of 100, with or without you, with or without me and my incredible ability to do their opportunity presentations. And I knew it then, which is why I hated doing it. What did it need me for? Why not just play a recording? But people with what they're asking, and here's a sad thing, I don't know. People always ask me, can this, you know, when they say, does it work? Does this company work? Is this company for real? They want to know, does it work for you? I don't know, because I don't know you. I don't know where you're at in your life. I don't know what is driving you. I don't know if you're sick and tired of being sick and tired of where you're at, and if you're ready to turn a corner and care more about the life you live instead of other people's opinion about the life you live. Because that's really what it comes down to.
Mm.
You know, I would rather
laugh such a good point
for what I am doing than have somebody that I care about come up to me and say, why didn't you tell me? You know, people keep their secrets to themselves. I never wanted a friend of mine to come up and say, why didn't you tell me what you were doing or show it to me, because I was in trouble and maybe you could have helped me. I would rather somebody laugh at me than have somebody come up to me and say, why didn't you care enough about me to risk me laughing at you because I needed somebody to show me something? Because network marketing is not something people can find when they're desperate. They need to find it so that they can prepare for a future where they might be. It's a plan B. It's a plan for your future. It's the extra car. You know, everybody talks about the millions and isn't that grand? Those stories we show it here, those stories, so that people can see what is possible. But trust and believe, the mom who's home with her kids that gets to get out 3 days a week and makes an extra $1,000 a month so the family can take the vacation it couldn't take. You know, the grandmother who can pay for the ballet lessons, her granddaughter desperately wants to take the tickets. These are the things that are real for people, and these are the things that drive businesses. Because most people who want to make $1 million, if they've only ever made 50,000, they can't visualize it. And we don't get what we want, we get what we picture. I've talked to more $1 million earners a year probably than most people will ever meet. And I will tell you, myself included, in the beginning, most people don't know what they want, but they know what they don't want.
Yep.
Most people start out motivated by what they want to get away from rather than what they're running toward. And as they change their associations and they hit some of those objectives, things will change and they will be able to visualize greater things. I tell you all this to say that the key to network marketing is not learning a bunch of skills, because those will come by using third party, by watching others do it, by immersion. You know, how do we teach how do little kids learn to speak? We don't send them off to language school. You know, they sit around and they hear mom and dad and everybody around them speak, and one day you can't shut them up. Okay, it's that simple. What we do, you know, people are not, you don't have to worry about learning everything, because there's a video you can point to, you can guide them to a meeting. That's the information.
Yep.
If you want people to think you're interesting, be interested in them. Everybody wants somebody to care.
Yep.
Mary Kay said it really well. Pretend that everybody you meet is wearing a sign that says, make me feel important. I believe that people are important. That's why I'm here tonight.
Yep.
Because I make you and every one of you is important. I don't know. If one thing I say can make you have an aha moment that can help you tomorrow, then I feel good about that. Because I think that every person, and if it's not network marketing, find what it is. Because it's, the world is your oyster. But if you're interested in other people, then you ask them questions. Your job is to help them realize what is possible and to clarify what they want, because what keeps people from having the success they want is a lack of specificity. Because we don't get what we want, we get what we picture. Little kids always get what they want because they're so specific in their desire. You ask an adult, hey, what do you want? I know your birthday's coming up. What can I get you? Oh, you don't have to get me anything. Who doesn't want something? We all want something. They say that. I say that because you don't know what you want. Ever go to a kid and say, what do you want for Christmas? They will bring you a list. They will tell you exactly what they want. They will tell you where you can buy it. They will tell you where it's on sale. They will not only tell you that they want it, they will tell you that they need it and why they have it and why they deserve it. And they will tell you every day. And sooner or later, like all parents, although you swear you're not going to, you will find a way to justify giving in and getting it for them. No. Well, if you clean your room and you get all A, maybe, possibly, and you give in. Life works that way. If you know exactly what it is and you focus on it, the universe will eventually open up and give it to you.
Yeah.
But we get so caught up in the grunt of survival that we don't really know what we want. So people will say, I want to make a lot of money. People don't want money. Money is not something you can eat. It doesn't keep you warm. It doesn't really do anything for you. People want what money can do for them. But if you ask them what those things are, they really don't know. If you say, what are you going to do if you get all this money? Get debt free. Okay, that's a good goal. However, if it was a good enough goal to really motivate people, then none of us would owe any money. It's very hard to get excited to go to work tomorrow so you can get money to pay for what you did last week. Most people want to get money to pay for something they don't have yet, not for something they haven't paid for they're already tired of. It's just human nature, right?
Yep.
So we want to get people clued in. So when you start asking people, are you happy? Most people aren't. You say, well, that's, if you stay on the road you're on and nothing changes in 2 years, do you like where it's going to take you? And when you get people to really start thinking about it, it's like, well, do you have a plan to change it? Well, what do you mean? Well, you're not really happy. You don't like the road, John. You don't like where you're going. That's okay. Everybody's been there. But you have a plan to change it. Most people don't have a plan. You know that when you ask the question. You're not asking the question because you want to hear their plan. If they had a plan, they wouldn't be talking about how unhappy they are. They'd be working the plan.
Yep.
But you're helping them to connect the fact, I'm really not happy. I don't have a plan, which is fine. Because the third question you're going to ask them is, would you like to see one?
Yep.
It's probably not for you, but I'm sure you're going to love the product. Why do we tell them it's probably not for them? Because it's probably not for them. Most people aren't doctors. Most people aren't lawyers. Most people don't open restaurants. And most people don't want to be professional network marketers. And that's okay. 2 out of 10 are going to say yes. 8 out of 10 are going to say no initially. You follow up. But the products are universal. And guess what? When you tell people it's probably not for you, but if you see what I see, I think together we can do something pretty special. And if you don't, at least you'll be looking for a plan, because guess what? There's one out there for you, and you deserve to be happy.
Yeah. People
like people that are interested in them. I can't stand when people call and tell me they want to get people. And they want this. You want gotten? Yeah. I don't want to be gotten. I want people that are interested in me.
Yep.
I remember people that are interested in me. Most people will tell you no, it's not for them. Some of them will do it with you anyway, because you know why? Because they don't know what is for them and they figure you're certain you cared, why not try it? They won't last as long as the ones that have certainty, but that's okay. They gave it a shot. Some people will go off and find other things. If it works for them, be a cheerleader on the front row. We should all want to see people win wherever they win. If it doesn't work, their first phone call is you. Because while everybody else was trying to get them, you were there hoping for them. That's the thing. Network marketing success, comes from wanting to see other people win on however they choose. And if they choose this, we don't tell them what they want to hear. We love them enough to tell them what works. And it's not about what you can do that works, it's about what you can do that duplicates. Because the key to this success in this is duplication. And if you make yourself the issue, your business will never be any bigger than you. So it's wonderful that I've got this so-called legendary thing going on. I think it's all nonsense, because I don't think I'm that big a deal. I just think because the internet, you tell a story, people like it, and they share it with a lot of people, and all of a sudden you get a story going on. But here's the deal. Some people want to get on a stage. You do. You want to get to the stage as quickly as you can, and you want to get off even quicker and replace yourself with other people to the point that one day people walk in that room and don't know who you are, because true success in this space is when you've worked yourself to irrelevancy.
Yep.
When you disappear and your checks come and none of it matters about you, because it's not about the only importance of what you do is what your story can serve to show others what is possible. Because if people believe that there's something so special about you that that's why you were able to do it, then they'll admire you, they'll think you're fantastic, and at the same time, it'll make them believe that they're not special enough to do what you did. And if that's what they believe, then the whole thing doesn't work before you even get started. If I can do it, the whole thing you want, if you can do it, I can do it. And that's what I saw in network marketing. I didn't understand it. I had to take a paradigm shift. But the true story is, I went to a meeting. I thought it was the goofiest thing I'd ever seen till it got to the testimonials. And I still thought it was goofy. I thought the people were goofy, but they were talking about travel and freedom. I had made money, but I hated my business. I felt like I was a slave to it. And I swear to God, I called my husband and he said, was it as bad as you thought it was going to be? Because I went as a favor to somebody because I did like their product. And I said, honey, it was so much worse. Because this was 25 years ago, before network marketing got cool, almost 30. And I said, sweetie, it was so much worse, but I got to tell you, there's one thing about it that's haunting me. He said, what? I said, these people are dumber than us, they're uglier than us, and they're making more money than we are, and they are surely having more fun. So I got to that's how I got started.
That's funny.
So anyway, I've been talking for like an hour saying nothing. So why don't you guys, if you have questions, ask them, and I'll try to tell you what you want.
I think you've revealed, I reckon I've written down 8 absolute nuggets. Absolute
You're one of 17. Let's see what everybody else wants. They're here too.
All right. Want to put a question on the chat? We had one before.
I didn't realize there was a chat. Okay, so what are people saying here? Okay, several aha moments. Hey, Heather, nice to meet you. Okay, anybody got any questions? If you don't want to talk, you can unmute and if you don't want to type, you can talk. Hey, cutie. Rashi is your name. He is just adorable.
Little Jensen.
Oh, so cute.
Here we go. One question.
Hey, Heather, I saw your comment. I like the thing on your wall behind you. You all have cool offices, actually.
We had one earlier on, Lisa, from the start. Can you please ask her, what advice would you give to a new leader?
I have a question. A new leader is kind of an oxymoron. You can't be new and be a leader.
Yeah.
Where are you going to lead people?
Let me give you the context. These guys have done, have put in the work, and then all of a sudden they've just started having massive success.
Okay. See, there are words in network. Everybody uses words. To me, a leader is somebody who steps up and leads. So you can be a leader on day one. But what I would say is the same thing. Don't take yourself so seriously. You see, everybody wants to do everything right and not allow themselves to make mistakes. You model success. I will always go to somebody who's accomplishing what I want to accomplish, and I will do exactly what they tell me to do if they are where I want to be. And that's not necessarily defined by money. I have met a lot of people that I admire their work ethic, I admire their accomplishments, but they aren't the people that I want to be.
Yeah.
So I can learn from them, but they're not necessarily what I would call a role model. But at the end of the day, I think that if you can find somebody that has already invested their money and their time, and you can invest less money, less time by learning from them, it's always wise, because money is round. It comes and it goes, and you can always make more, but time is irreplaceable. And every successful person that I've ever met has come to the realization that the most valuable commodity you have is time.
Yeah.
So I'm always looking to save time. But trying to be perfect and always being afraid of that you're going to say the wrong thing to the right person. You can't say the wrong thing to the right person, because everybody is afraid of the same things you are. So I think I would say be real, be authentic, and don't think you have to know everything, because nobody likes to know it all anyway. You know, I think that to be a wholehearted person, you have to be willing to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
I think that if any of you have seen my story, I told my story years ago because I got some very good advice from somebody, and they told me that nobody can tell nobody tells your sins, and nobody can tell your story like you. It's your story. And everybody believes that they have to have some magnificent story in order that I have to have success before I can talk to somebody. I have to do this before I can talk to somebody. Being willing to share of yourself is what makes you other people willing to share of themselves. And what I would tell any leader is going out and letting people see that you're not perfect is the greatest gift that you can give to another person who's afraid to take a shot in life.
Yeah.
Because how many people are familiar, for example, with Eric Worre's event? Have you ever live streamed it or seen it, or any event or where they're okay? Any event where you've seen a lot of have you ever been to I don't know how big your companies are, but if you're in bigger companies and you've been to their events, then you've seen a lot of people on stage at the bigger events that are earning a great deal of money.
Yep.
Eric's stage, almost everybody that speaks at GoPro is $1 million a year earner. Certain companies. So we're talking major league successful people. How many people have ever been to like a anything like Tony Robbins event or a big event like that where you've seen these people? You know what I call those stages? Those are the stage. Those stages highlight failure. Those are a showcase of failure, because anybody who's on that stage is not afraid of failing. They have failed more than every single person in the audience, and they just kept going. Because there is no success without having doors slammed in your face and people laughing at you and people saying it isn't going to work. And usually that's people speaking out of their own fear.
Yep.
But I want to give you a different perspective. If the way to get better at something is by doing it over and over and over and over again, what if you got involved in the business and you went out and talked to 100 people that were willing to sit down with you and listen to what you had to say, ask questions, you asked them questions, they went through the process with you. Every one of them said no. Now, most people wouldn't do that. But if you were willing to do that, how good is somebody who's gone through the process 100 times? They're going to be phenomenal at it. I don't care if it's the most untalented person in the whole world. I can take anybody, and if they will actually do the work that many times, they're going to be great. If you don't believe me, there's a talk on a TED Talk about a guy that talks about 20 hours of work to extreme proficiency. Go watch it. But absolutely. So here's the question. So if you have 100 people that all sit down with you, give you the time of day, and every one of them says no, and at the end of them, you're fantastic. Isn't each and every one of those 100 people a hero in your story, because with their help, you're now fantastic?
Yep.
So why do most people tell a story of all the people that rejected them? Here were people that were willing to sit down, give you their time, which we've already said is the most valuable commodity in the world to people. They have listened to you. Every one of them, you are better every time you have left. They have given you feedback. You have learned how to be fantastic. And now you're going to go off and conquer the world. They're all heroes.
Yeah.
Every time you go out and you let people see that you don't have to be perfect and you keep going, you're a hero because you don't know who is watching. So to me, leaders lead. They lead when it's raining. They lead when it works. They lead when it doesn't work. They lead when they have a cold. They lead when they don't want to get up and go. When they don't feel like it, they're still doing. They're the first ones there. They're the last ones to leave. They don't lie to people. We don't tell people you're not welcome here if you don't want to make $10,000 a month. I don't care if you want to make $10 or no dollars or 10,000 or 100,000. We have a place for you no matter where, but we're not going to lie to you and tell you that a $10 effort is going to make you $10,000 a month. Be straight with people. I tell that to a new leader, an old leader, a seasoned leader. Be straight up. Never stop learning. You're perpetually a student and a mentor every day of your career if you want to keep getting better. I want to keep getting better.
Yeah.
You know, I think most people do. If you love what you're doing, let people see that. On the days that you hate what you're doing, let people say that. Say, I really hate this today. Thank God I love it more than I hate it. That's the truth of what it takes. You got to love the people so much that on the days that you hate them, your love for them trumps your hate. Because there are days the best thing about this business, the people. Worst thing about this business, the people.
We've got another question here from Darren and Kate Adams. How would you deal with people with the grass is always greener syndrome?
I don't. Here's the thing. You have my link of that I did at Eric's thing.
Yep.
Send that to everybody because that's how I deal with everybody. Again, I ask questions, but I am not in the business of forcing people to grow faster than they wish to. Remember, this is your business. We get to work with, and we get to choose who we work with. See, a lot of people don't appreciate how wonderful network marketing is. A lot of times I'll ask people a question. I'll say, would you sign up anybody who wants to sign up? Some people are so desperate to sign up anybody, they'll sign up anyone. I prospect everyone. I recruit very selectively. Why? Because you are choosing who you go to work for. When you enroll somebody, you're basically agreeing to support and help them and meet them halfway. They perform, you perform. They perform, you perform. And you can surround yourself. It's a volunteer army. Everybody that's here is here because they choose to be. That's what makes, I've often thought network marketing is potentially so wonderful because if you think there's not a company in the world that if you don't go to work in that company, that at least somebody isn't there because they feel they have to be. They have this job and they don't really want to be there, but they need the paycheck. They may have a great attitude about it, but given a choice, they wouldn't be there. Network marketing is 100% people there by choice. So you can choose to work with anybody. You can choose to not talk to this person because they've got a great smile, not talk to that person because they look grumpy as all giddy up. Take this phone call, because this person's fun, and say to that person, you're taking an awful lot of my time and you're grumpy. Change your attitude or call somebody else because I choose not to work with grumpy people. I got into this to get away from grumpy people. And yet, so if people are driving you crazy and you're choosing to deal with it, why?
Yep.
You don't have to. Nobody's going to fire you if you don't.
Good point. Well, I reckon I might just unmute everyone so everyone can say hello because I think, and I'm pretty sure everyone's going to agree, you are just absolutely the best. Absolutely the best.
I love you all. I love each and every one of you, but I want to meet this guy.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Lisa.
Yeah. Oh, anytime. And honestly, I respond to all my messages, all my emails, and you can reach me on Facebook at either my fan page or my profile. So if I can help anybody with anything, please, feel free to reach out.
Fantastic.
And thanks so much for having me. I really am so flattered. It's my first ever anything I've done in Australia in a very long time.
Well, wow. I think, come on, everyone, give a clap.
I have goosebumps.
Awesome.
I don't know about you guys, but
Awesome.
I got a lot out of it, and hopefully
I want to hear your story. So anybody share with me if you got something on this and what's happening for you. If you put anything into play, I always want to hear what's going on. I want to hear your stories, and if I can help you in any way, just drop me a line.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Awesome day. Evening.
Thank you very much.
Thanks again.
That's
Thanks
right.
for
Thanks.
everybody.
All right. See ya. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Thanks, Benny.
Thanks,
everybody.
Ben.
Bye.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Benny.
Ben.
Thanks, Lisa.
Thank you, Ben.
Thanks, Ben.
Now, how do I do this? Here we go.